As the battle continues for expansion of broadband service in rural areas, the Small Company Coalition is making an effort to educate and empower small rural companies on government regulations and legislation. Joining us live by phone to give us an update is J Kail, Executive Committee Member for the Small Company Coalition. Jim, thank you so much for joining us.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to continue to get the word out on the negative impact the FCC's regulations are having on small companies and rural customers we're serving. So thank you. Well,
we do think it's very, very important. Bring us up to date on what's been happening with your organization since our last visit.
Well, there's been a lot of activity. Some of it has been, some of the negative effects continue to roll out as the new regulations are being phased in. The FCC has made a few attempts to correct some of the problems with its flawed regulations, but in some of these cases, these attempts have had the opposite effect of their stated intention. Small businesses continue to suffer, and I know in one particular case, there's been a rural company that laid off 45 of its full-time employees. And this is the first such layoff in its 80-year history. And I know in another case, a small company has laid off over half of its employees since the regulations took effect. In addition to the workforce reductions, there's other negative impacts on the local economy. For example, the regulations have dampened investment, and in some cases, companies are on the verge of defaulting or have already defaulted on their loan obligations. Now, these loan obligations they committed to these loan obligations under the old rules and under the old revenue streams. And as part of the new regulations, those revenue streams aren't sufficient to cover the debt. And again, it's causing some companies to seriously consider filing for bankruptcy. There have been some positive developments. It's not all negative, and I think that's because of groups like ours that are out there and continue to try to shine light on what's happening, the impact of the regulations on rural America. For example, there have been in recent weeks there have been a number of bipartisan letters that have been written by both the House and Senate. One of these letters was dated earlier in the month. It was signed by 26 U.S. senators. So again, they were getting the word out, and the pressure is paying off. We just got to keep coming and be relentless, and it's through involvement from small company executives and our rural customers, I think, that's creating this additional pressure. These letters that I've referred to, they're asking for greater transparency. They're asking for the FCC to take a look at the impact these regulations are having on the small companies and their rural customers. And so, again, as these letters continue to come in, I think the pressure is starting to mount, and hopefully they're going to look at it objectively. And then as far as the FCC itself, there have been recent appointees to the commission, including a new chairman, and some of the other commissioners seem to be taking a more objective and open approach to reviewing the impact of the regulations. So we're hopeful that the changes in the composition of the FCC will lead to more of an open dialogue and a good faith effort to correct the many flaws of its recently implemented regulations.
Well, good deal. Education, communication, the key here. Right before we go, give us a place where folks can go for more information if they do want to get involved.
Well, if they want to get involved, first of all, I would refer you to our website, Small Company Coalition website. It's www.smallcompanycoalition.com. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. There's filings that we've made. There are these letters that I just referred to that are out there that you can pick up on. So, and if there's and there's also contact information if they want to get involved, and there'll be information there that will tell them how to do that. I just encourage people to be involved. It's the way our form of government works. We need to stand up. I really believe it's more of an obligation as opposed to a right. I mean, this is the way our government works. This is a serious issue affecting the quality of the rural network, and our voices need to be heard in Washington, D.C., and our Small Company Coalition will continue to take the voice of rural America to Washington, D.C., and make sure we're heard.
Jim, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate you.
I appreciate everything you're doing to help us get the word out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.